Good evening, everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started, and we're going to start with our invocation. I would like to introduce Pastor Ronnie Drage from Garber Christian Church, and I would like to point out he is also a paraprofessional at Waller.
Thank you very much, and would we all like to bow our heads for a word of prayer. Father, I want to thank you for allowing us to come before you this evening. I just pray that you just be with this board, be with the members as they use their knowledge and their wisdom to make the decisions that need to be made to help our public school a much better place. And I pray that as we're coming close to the new upcoming school year, that you'll be with the teachers, whether they're new or the same old teachers. I pray that you'll be with them as they prepare for the next school year. We pray that you'll be with us staff people as we also prepare for the upcoming school year. And I pray that you just bless this system and give us all a great year. In Jesus' blessed name, amen.
Amen. Thank you for coming. Appreciate it.
Early, but with that, we will call the meeting to order with all board members present, excluding, well, Colonel Cohen is not here, but our representative, Colin and Kyle are not present. Would everyone join in a flag salute? You just do it? I'm just going to do it. Let's just go.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And we had no audience to visitors sign up. Okay. So moving forward to our quick meeting this evening, Dr. Floyd and then superintendent's report.
All right, Michael is up first with a construction report. I asked him if his report was going to be short or long or medium, and he said medium, so don't blame that on me.
Okay. Oh, good, I'm glad. So at Adams, the steel framing's going up over there. It looks like it's just about complete. This is the first floor. You can see this, it's kind of taking shape there. This is down the center of the hallway with classrooms on either side. The second floor, they're preparing it to pour concrete up on the second floor, so that's moving along. This is the interior. I don't have updated pictures on a couple of these here, but we have drywall and some paint in the office area. That'll be complete for school. This is the east entry. We've got some, this shows the pavement going in out there. If you go by it right now, we've got a lot of those bollards and benches out there right now, so it's really kind of exciting. I don't have an image for you, but you know, that could be something you look forward to next time. On all these projects, on our timing, you know, we've been hit really hard with the rain and stuff, so all our projects have taken a real big hit. But as I look back through all these to see where our progress was on all of them, we're about to where I can say that we're back up to speed on them. What they've done is really accelerated construction, which has been really pretty nice to see. So we're not quite there yet, but we're making that positive motion that we'll probably get done on time, or what we planned on for most of these. This one was going to be, Adams was looking at mid-February. And this is the other part of Adams, is we've started the construction of the parking lot there on the south side. So that's moving along pretty good. We're working with the neighbor there to the south, making sure we got a nice relationship there. This is the Fowler. That's a cool name. Everybody likes that.
Michael.
Yes, ma'am.
That land, is that our land?
NOC deeded it to us for $1 for as long as we want to use it. And so, yeah, we have an agreement in place with them to pave that.
Good. But we're going to pave it.
Yes, we are.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
Yep.
When's that supposed to be done?
We're hoping that it gets done by the start of school, which that's what they're telling me right now. We'll see. We're going to try to get the part up next to the school done a little bit quicker and finish out the part south, because we only use about half of it. With our teachers, you know, when we have events and stuff, we of course use it all, and then some of the students from Northern use it too on that southern end. So we should have it pretty good usable there by the start of school. If not, of course, there's plenty of little spaces around the streets and stuff to be able to park on, so I think we'll be okay if it doesn't quite meet that.
And remind me, is that concrete or paving?
It's concrete,
Okay.
yeah. There'll be a cure time on that. You don't want to get cars out, so it'll be done, and then it'll sit there, and you'll think, wait, why aren't we parking on it? But of course, it'll have time to cure, so and that just helps it be more durable and where it doesn't crack up. The Fowler, I've been hearing a lot about, I don't see people out there working. Well, they're out there working like crazy now. They had 50 people on site the other day. This shows the sheathing going on. This is the brick. It's been completed. The interior framing, all the metal stud work, that's moving along really pretty well. It's about 90% complete. They've started mechanical and electrical rough in. And this looks like it's moving pretty good. We're thinking about 2 months into schools when this one will be done, and we have all the furniture ordered and stuff to be able to move into the temporary classrooms and the permanent classrooms. Longfellow, the brick is going to be completed pretty soon. A lot of things you can't see on this is you can't see if the windows are going in here, so there's some glass and stuff that's been installed here. Project Lead the Way down in the old art room, they've cleaned that all out and painted that, working there on the floor. We started some interior demolition. That's the connections of the new building into the original building, and from the entry hallway into the cafeteria. So some of that dirty work we're trying to get done over the summer. This image shows the Longfellow Playground. Shows a lot of work being done out there. We've had a lot of utility work. This was the city actually repairing a sewer line down the alley, the old alleyway there. Had several different utility issues that we've been working through. The playground part of this should be ready by school, by the start of school, and then the soccer field will be ready about a month after that or so. And this is the high school. This image you can see there's glass going in, there's a little metal panel work on this, so that's all progressing really pretty nicely. This is an image of the courtyard that faces north. You don't really see this too much, but you can see how beautifully that's turned out. There's a whole bunch of pictures of the gym, which is basically more and more metal stud. Well, this is a little bit of drywall that's going on there, so that was a nice thing to see that starting in there. What you'll see right now if you go out there is at the parking lot. They've demolished the parking lot. The majority of the parking lot, there's still one little strip where they have their storage sheds and stuff on that is not demoed yet, but they've went back and compacted all of the soil out there, and they're starting to put the gravel base down and should be starting to pour it pretty soon. This will be one of the things when you come back to school. We're hoping to have this poured in a way that we can get kids in and out of the parking lot, but we'll have to see as it goes along. I'm just afraid of weather hitting us again, but I mean, hopefully hot and dry is a good way to build, good weather to build in. Mm-hmm. So hopefully this will move pretty good. There will be some sort of issues that we'll have to deal with once we get to close to school. And but when we did this the last time, it took a couple days, and the students picked it up and knew what they were supposed to do and didn't have any real issues after that. So this should be pretty easy for us to go through and get this working. I think that's all I have. Was that medium or?
That was short. That was good, yeah.
We're going to bid some of the work for Emerson, Lincoln, McKinley, and Carver this Thursday, and we have some digital signs. We took that bid, and we're working on value engineering that. So,
any questions for Michael before he steps down?
Only one.
Oh, I
Only
almost
one.
got out.
At Adams, will the office be in the same location it's in now? Or is it being moved?
It will be in the classroom. If you go in straight in the door there, it'll be to the classroom to the right.
Okay.
We've punched a hole for a doorway into that, and then you will go through the original classroom door to get into the hallway. So it'll just be.
So kind of close to where it is, but to the right instead of towards the back.
Straight in front as it is now. So that way we get our security vestibule. As you go in those doors, there'll be a vestibule doors that'll be locked, so you have to go into that classroom, which is then the receptionist to be able, or secretary to be able to check in to go in.
And then the old office, is that being transformed back into a classroom area?
Yeah, it's a little bit smaller. It's a smaller office, so it'll be a special classroom or whatever.
Okay.
And then there's a nurse's office there. that will remain, and there is the old secretary's office, which will be turned into a workroom, and we're going to make a formal faculty restroom where they had a sink and stuff in that area.
Okay.
So it'll be a nice little workroom for the teachers there.
Awesome. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Anybody else for Michael? Thank you, sir.
Cool.
All right, continuing on with the superintendent report, the first attachment that you have in your agenda, board members, is the board resolution to endorse the COSA blended / virtual learning framework. And we've talked about this for a couple of months now, and talked about the fact that that COSA and OASA and others are making a big push for blended and virtual learning statewide, and this falls right in line with our e-prep learning program. So what they've asked us to do, asked districts to do, not just us, but districts across the state, is to have their boards pass this resolution, which basically supports that effort. So that's all this is, just a resolution stating that we are in support of that effort. And then upon board approval tonight, I have an original that Tori and I will have to sign. So recommend approval of that resolution.
So moved. I can tonight.
No, I don't think you
No,
can, but
it's
I
good,
can.
yeah.
I move to approve the resolution.
Second.
You break ties.
I still have to vote. No, I don't have to vote.
You
You
can.
still get
you
to
can
vote.
vote.
I get
You
to.
can't
And you
make the
should
motion.
vote.
Yeah.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? And the motion carries.
All right, very good. Thank you. We'll sign that document a little bit later. Okay, I want to pause here and remind everybody about the upcoming COSA OSSBA Education Leadership Conference, August the 22nd through the 25th. And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong here, Carol, but Kyle and Colin are not going, right? That's what they told you before. And then you want to verify with everybody else tonight?
I talked to everyone but Matt.
Okay.
I could do Friday.
Friday, okay. And then Amanda, yes. Trent, yes. Tori, yes. And Willa Jo, yes. Okay, so the last thing I wanted to share with you guys is that I got an email from MA Plus Architects inviting us to lunch on Friday. Let me make sure that's the right date. Yeah, Friday, August the 23rd. I believe we did that last year as well. 11:30 to 1 at the Garden Room at Colcord Hotel in Oklahoma City. So those of you that are going to be there, do you guys want to take advantage of that? Yes, 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 yes. You're going to be there? Yes. We don't want to pass up free lunch, do we? No. Shoot, no.
On what day?
Oh, that would be Friday the 23rd. You have another commitment? Well, if you're available, you join us. If you're not, well, I'll eat your part. And you're good?
Yes.
Okay, very good.
I'd like to verify with Willa Jo and Ford what days.
Friday and Saturday.
Friday and Saturday.
Friday and Saturday.
And Dr. Ford, what days?
I'll be there the whole while. Yeah. All right, and then next item in your agenda is wanted to let everybody know about that EPS is the recipient of a $26,388 grant effort from Tyson Foods. It's really a combined effort of Tyson Foods and Donors Choose organization that our teachers can use for classroom projects where they can request up to $1,000 in classroom resources. That is part of a $1 million nationwide grant program through Donors Choose, and it's available only to selected school districts that are within Tyson food plant communities. So I want to say a word of thanks to Tyson and Donors Choose for that. I think that'll go a long way to helping a bunch of our teachers. So Amber has already sent out the information to teachers, and we might want to do that again as it gets a little bit closer.
Actually, they asked that we listen to the webinar and they did this now, so we're going to.
I can't hear you.
We're going to attend the webinar and then we'll.
Oh, we got to do a webinar before we send it out. But we'll get that information out to the teachers, and certainly appreciate them doing that. Then the next item at your place board members is, or not at your place, I'm sorry, in your agenda, is it's an attachment that has a list of donors that have donated to our school district over the last 2 years, totaling $6 million. We've had a total of $6 million that has come our way from just outstandingly generous donors, and I'm not going to go over all the amounts, but I am going to go over the groups and organizations that have contributed to that. And like I said, the attachment is in your agenda there. But T-Mobile, George Davis, Allen Family Foundation, Vicki and Kevin Davis Scholarship, Junior Welfare League, Striving Readers Grant, OETT K-20 Grant, EPS Foundation, Junior Welfare League, Edward Jones, KH Financial, TPI Staffing Services, Friends of the Observatory at the high school, and AT&T are just some that have contributed to that, and we can't say enough and how grateful we are to all of those donors, because they certainly, that money that they donate goes a long way to helping both students and teachers, and we're very appreciative. Wanted to remind everybody that I believe it was last month that we had Mayor Pankinen up here with Roy Bartnick, might have been 2 months ago, and where Roy Bartnick was the recipient of the State Air Force Association Aerospace STEM Teacher of the Year award winner, and then he went on to the national competition, and now Roy has been, he got second place in that national competition, so congratulations to him. That's quite the honor. And just a reminder that Roy is taking on a new role for us, going to be the, what do we call it, STEM coordinator? STEM coordinator for EPS, and that's right up his alley. He's done a lot of work in those areas, and I think that'll be a good transition for him and good for kids. Okay, a few back-to-school dates here for you. A new teacher orientation comes up. It's right around the corner now, just a couple weeks away, August 1st for new teacher orientation right here in this room. If you want to join us for that, we'll kick it off at, 8 that morning. Opening convocation is on a Thursday this year, not a Friday. It's Thursday, August the 8th. Got a really good speaker coming in for that, and also have some good breakfast goodies there for all of the faculty and staff that day. And the first day of school is Tuesday, not Monday, but Tuesday, August the 13th. And then I wanted to also remind you, this is not on your agenda, but it kind of goes along with those school dates. Meet the Teacher Night this year will be Monday, August the 12th, 5:30 to 7 for all campuses. Monday, August 12th, 5:30 to 7 is Meet the Teacher Night at all campuses. All right, next attachment in your agenda is a list of 2020 school board meeting dates, and I did want to discuss a couple of those. There actually are 3 of those dates that, well, let's talk about January 1st. That's highlighted on that attachment, and we've given you 2 dates there. I am recommending that we hold the January board meeting on the 13th instead of the 21st, because the 21st falls on MLK Day, and we do not have school that day, I believe. Is that right? We do not have school that day. So if everybody's agreeable to having the January meeting on the second Monday, we'll make that the 13th instead of the 21st. And then there are 2 other dates that fall on the second Monday instead of the third. That would be March the 9th is a second Monday, and that's because of spring break. And then down to the last one on December 2020, that actually falls on the 14th, which is the second Monday because of the Christmas holidays. So anybody have any problem with January 13th over the 21st? All right, we'll appreciate that. We'll go with that then, and I would recommend approval of those dates.
We'll entertain a motion to approve the dates for the 2020 Enid School Board meetings.
Second.
Motion by Willa Jo, second by Amanda. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And the motion carries.
I believe that's the extent of my superintendent report, which, for the record, was short tonight.
Summer schedule. I like it. All right, moving forward, item 4, regular business. Now we can take
All of 4 together.
All of 4.
All of 4A together.
Okay, I will entertain a motion to approve all of 4A.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Trent, second by Amanda. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And the motion carries. Moving into 4B, discussion then possible action to approve the district financial report for June 2019. Dr. Robinson?
You have one sheet handout there at your place, board members. We're going to talk a little bit about the financial report in two different kind of categories. The first one is about the general fund and building fund. It does appear that we're going to be adding to our fund balance this year. That number has not completely been determined. Hopefully I'll have a good, I hate to say a good number, a more solid number next week. And then, of course, our final number comes in whenever we get our estimate of needs back to us in September. But I'm fairly confident it's going to be a good amount that's going to lend itself to continuing to do good things with our carryover, kind of like we did this last year in buying textbooks and those kind of things for students. I do want to say this also, that with that carryover, I think there is something to be mindful of, and that is to try and avoid having deficit spending as part of our budget, because we never know where we're going to really fall with the revenue stream that comes in. I do realize that there's very good news coming out of the Treasurer's Office that there should be, at the end of next fiscal year, $1 billion in the rainy day fund that will prevent school districts, hopefully, for a good duration of time, from ever having a revenue failure again. But we all know the political whims and how they can go, that money is not guaranteed to cover any revenue shortfalls that will happen. And we know it will happen. There will be a revenue shortfall at some point in time. Just that's part of the budget process. And I think it's important that we guard ourselves, and I think we have an adequate fund balance to do so. And that's why I give a caution about deficit spending out of fund balance unless we are prepared to recoup that savings in the following fiscal year. So. And then the other news is about bonds. And there's this little thing that happened in June. We hit our 3-year mark on our 2016 bond. And at 3 years, you fall into this category of arbitrage rebate. And what arbitrage rebate is it's the calculation of the interest you earned on your bond funds while they were sitting in the bank. The IRS can recoup that interest if you have not spent down a certain percentage of your money. I got some very good news on this today, and that is that we are not currently in a position to have to repay our interest that we have earned on those funds. We have not encumbered those funds. We have not given those funds to any project. They're simply sitting there as interest to be put forth and expended in the district for continued development. So the good news is I want to share with you guys is that because of how we fell in the arbitrage rebate, the interest earned on that money was less than the interest we are paying on that money, and that's part of the arbitrage rebate process. I know it might be a little too in-depth. It was a little too much for me earlier until I had time to really think about it, but the good news is we can continue earning interest, continue adding to that without a whole lot of fear of that having to be paid back to the Internal Revenue Service. And I'll just jump in here for a second. Carl and I were concerned that when that 3-year time period expired, that arbitrage would kick in and we would have to pay some interest monies back. But the reason that did not occur, as Dr. Robinson just said, is that the reason that arbitrage is in place in the first place is that they don't want districts just sitting on a pile of bond monies and dragging their feet on construction projects, so that back in the days when interest rates were high, they would just earn a bunch of money. They didn't want districts earning a bunch of interest money on bond funds at the expense of not getting their projects done. But in this environment, this interest environment, that's not the case. We're in the exact opposite interest environment. And so that was good news today that we're not going to have to pay any of that back.
Yes, it's really good news. And the other thing is I was worried that we were going to have to rush along some projects because we'd be paying that interest back. We don't have no need to worry about that. We continue. I know everybody wants to get a faster pace, but there's no reason to rush people and not get a quality building because we're maintaining a progressive that can build us a good building. So I'll leave it at that right there. Finance report, need approval.
Perfect. I'll entertain a motion.
Move we approve.
Motion by Matt. Do I have a second? Second by Willa Joe. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And the motion carries. Moving forward, item 4C, discussion and possible action to approve the Hellas, is that correct? Hellas construction for the removal and replacement of turf at Selby Stadium and David Allen Memorial Ballpark based on submitted proposals from June 27th for a total price of $621,350. Dr. Robinson?
I'm going to have to read a little statement here because we are not taking low bid on this, and I think that's important to remember. And part of that process was a scale was set up. So I'm going to read through this real quick, and that way you guys, when you do take a vote on it, it's with good information. Turf has a life expectancy of 8 to 10 years based on normal wear conditions. Selby Stadium will have reached its 10th season this fall, and David Allen will have had its 8th fall season played on it this fall. Both fields are in need of replacement in order to have fields that are playable and safe for student athletes and those in extracurricular activities. Proposals were taken for turf replacement on June 27th. 3 turf companies submitted proposals, and Hellas was not the low-price proposal. Selection criteria included specified requirements that the current field at Selby does have, and some of the specifications were changed based on improved technology in turf from 10 years ago. Hellas was able to meet every required specification for the project. The other 2 companies, Sprint Turf and General Sports Services, had 6 and 8 deficiencies in meeting the required turf specifications. 3 main areas of concern were the makeup of the fiber, the infill system, and the density of the turf. Sprint Turf and General Sports Services could not provide a twisted helix fiber that has demonstrated greater resiliency and a more natural-looking feel to the grass that Hellas could provide. Sprint Turf and General Sports Services could not provide a pea gravel infill system currently used at Selby Stadium that has proven to be a quality system on our existing turf. High traffic areas were a requirement for David Allen Ballpark around the bases, home plate, and for the pitcher's mound. Hellas was the only company that provided an 80-ounce turf for these areas and compared to a 46 and 50-ounce turf for the others. Hellas has proven record with EPS, and based on the selection criteria, we believe they can provide a turf to last another 10 years or more. The total price for that is, for both turf replacements, $621,350. That also includes some additionals, goalpost, material called thatch that goes inside the turf of the baseball field to give it's for the ball and when you slide on a baseball field, you have the potential for the rubber to come up somewhat. Thatch helps to reduce that, which is a good thing for baseball. And also, we will be getting a new groomer system that's included in that price to maintain those turf fields for the next 10 years.
And a couple of comments here. One is back to the goalpost out at Selby. The new goalpost, the way it is now, once football season's over and they get ready for soccer season, they have to get a big crane in there, and it tears up the grass field getting the crane in there to get the goalposts off. These will be automated and much easier to move in and out, and much better for the soccer program as well. And then upon board approval tonight, both of these turf areas would be laid over Christmas, right?
The plan is to actually start David Allen at the end of October, as soon as softball season is finished, and then that would lend itself to begin Selby as soon as we know that home playoff games would not be necessary there. And so that was the initial plan, was to get these done back-to-back, save money.
While they're
and get them
still
finished.
in town, they
That's
kill
right,
2
do them
birds.
both,
Okay.
and to have them finished before soccer season. I do want to mention this. I'm glad you brought that up about the goalpost. We were contacted today by a soccer tournament. I wish I could remember what tournament it was. They have been playing this tournament at NEO, and NEO no longer wants to host the tournament. They want to come to Enid to play this soccer tournament in November. And so it's a week we don't have football going on. And so these goalposts, we don't have to move them this year, but they were excited to hear that we had removable goalposts that were going to be installed, just because they don't like playing soccer on a football field with goalposts, believe it or not. So this lends itself again to having other events and other venues sharing our spaces and taking pride in what we have around here.
Yeah, and obviously the same will take place when we get that new gym built too. I think it'll lend itself to bringing bigger tournaments, whether it be volleyball or basketball, into that facility, and maybe combined with other facilities we're using in the community. So, questions on this turf project for Sam?
Kind of warranty.
that has an 8-year warranty. And the thing that I think is important to remember on this, we required that the company provided a third-party warranty as well. So that way, if they are to, for some reason, go bankrupt, go out of business, we have a warranty on that turf that's beyond just the company holding the warranty. And that's primarily because of David Allen. The company that installed it was, I would call them a fly-by-night company from what was given to me. And 2 years later, they were out of business and no warranty on that field.
I don't think we're going to have that with Hellas because I know them to be the leader in turf management, so they've done a good job for decades.
What is the breakdown of the cost on each of the facilities? I know the total is there, but what's the,
Well, I can,
just a rough?
yep, I got it right here.
Okay.
I know I brought some good notes with me. For David Allen, it's $171,260. And for Selby, it is $422,615. And the goalposts are $27,475.
Okay.
Just
and-
for comparison purposes, when that original turf went down, it's around $800,000. So when you replace turf a second time around, you get to use some of that underlying stuff again. So that's the reason the price is significantly different the second go-round.
And you already said David Allen's original company is gone. Who did Selby originally? Do you know?
Selby was done by Hillis.
It was?
And
Okay.
I will say this, that if we were to go do a tour of our fields and you walked on Selby, you would know that it was old turf. I could show you how you know. But you would go, do we really need to replace this year? If you walked on David Allen, if you see David Allen from the stands, you're not going to know it. If you walk out there and you feel it, you're going to be like, how did we have a College World Series played on this field?
Mm-hmm.
They've done a great job of maintaining it through this. And that's really why I think Hellas is a company to use. And I'm expecting we can get more than 10 years with this new fiber that they have. It just hasn't been out there long enough to say, yes, it will go longer than that. But I'm hoping we get maybe 11 or 12 if we take care of it right. So.
Very good. Thank you.
What do we do with the current goalposts? Do we sell those? Does it go to a middle school?
Right now,
I don't think we've determined that yet.
No,
But
we haven't.
that's a good point.
But
if we have a need here in our district, we'll use them. If we don't, we'll sell them.
Yeah.
Just thinking of something else there as we were talking. Well, it left me. I'm sorry. Any other questions for Sam? I think this is a good expenditure for the district. We've certainly got 8 or 10 years out of both of those turfs, and it's time to replace them, and we've talked about it for several months now, and now it's time to pull the trigger on the bid, so recommend approval.
I'll entertain a motion to approve item 4C.
So moved.
Second.
A motion by Amanda, second by Trent. Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And the motion carries. Moving on to item 4D, discussion and possible action to approve board resolution number 648, approving and affirming a lease purchase agreement and authorizing the execution of the same, designating lease transaction as a qualified tax exempt obligation, authorizing employment of school district counsel and bond counsel pertaining to financing, and authorizing school district officials to execute any and all necessary documents in connection with the aforementioned transactions. Dr. Robinson.
Okay, now that you approve the turf, this is how we're going to pay for it. Rather than dipping into that fund balance of the building fund, I think we have a good option here with lease purchase to do with this turf. This is a little more than half the cost. I think $300,000 out of bond fund, $321,000 out of lease purchase will be more than adequate. That's a lot less than we paid for copiers. So, and we'll get to keep some of that money on hand for those other emergencies. This is going to be a 3-year lease purchase. This resolution is going to allow me to begin the execution of that financing agreement with the finance company. One of the questions I had, and I think needs to be clarified here, whenever we talk about bond counsel and those kind of things, I know we think of, oh gosh, I just went blank on his name, when we sold bonds. we think of Ron Fisher as bond counsel and providing the Floyd law firm and those kind of things. This is not that in depth, and I asked those questions already. It's just kind of the legal jargon for the lease purchase that they have to send it to an attorney. It's going to be reviewed by an attorney at RFR for us, and then it's a done deal. It's just to make sure that everything is where it needs to be as far as repayment and those kind of things go. So there's not a lot of cost associated with that. So just to clarify exactly what all that means.
I will entertain a motion to approve item 4D. Motion by Willie Joe. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Amanda. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And the motion carries. Item 4E, discussion and possible action to approve a contract with Henson Construction as the construction manager at risk for the repair of insured roofs based on the district's OSIG insurance claim. Maximum cost covered by OSIG is $1,997,773. Dr. Robinson?
Well, we took bids on this a couple weeks ago, and Henson is our construction manager on this. There is a roofing company that's going to come in and actually do the work. It's not going to be Henson Construction. And so he evaluated them. We met with the architect. There was some debate back and forth on companies and the product we're going to use, and we all felt like this is the right company, this is the right product, and they were the low price. And so, but again, the important thing to remember is this $1.9 million is not the burden of the school district. It is the burden of OSIG, Oklahoma School Insurance Group. We've already paid our $10,000 deductible, and so our part has been met, and the rest of this will be taken care of by OSIG. We will get a bill from the roofing company or Henson, and then Henson will then in turn be paid through the insurance company, who will pay that money to us, and then we pay Henson. So just so everybody's really clear that this is not an encumbrance of district funds. It is an encumbrance of district funds, but they're going to be reimbursed to us. So
I will entertain a motion to approve item 4E.
I think I followed you on this, but Henson is actually employing the firm that will do it.
that is right.
But you, Dr. Floyd, or you met with him to discuss the different firms?
Yes.
Yeah, they were all at the bid opening, yep.
Yeah.
Brian was at the bid opening.
Yep. And then we met last week with a chemical company, just the chemical company that won the bid, just to get assurances from them that everything was where it needed to be, because the chemical company that was part of this bid, they actually bought out an older chemical company. So they name changed the chemical, but everything about it is still a chemical that's been in use for more than 10 years.
And then I ran into Brian Henson at ERDA meeting last Thursday at lunch, and just confirmed with him that he's comfortable with this company, and he said yes.
Okay.
I will entertain a motion.
Second.
Motion by Trent, second by Amanda. Any more discussion? I have a question. Remind me how many roofs we're redoing.
Every roof in the district except for Prairie View and Garfield.
Okay. Thank
Even EHS is getting new roof coatings on the old roofs. Anything that's part of new construction is not being touched.
Gotcha. Thank you. Okay. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Excuse me, the motion carries. Item 4F, discussion and possible action to allow Dr. Floyd, Superintendent of Enid Public Schools, to approve the contracts for projects bidding on July 18th that could be time-sensitive based on the next available board meeting date. Approvals would be based on the original estimated project cost, utilizing the remaining individual project balance with a 10% variance. Dr. Robinson or Dr. Floyd?
Yeah, I'll just say a word of introduction and turn it over to Sam. This will we'll do two things. You guys authorizing us to open the bids and approve them on a couple days, I guess it'll be 3 days from now, on July the 18th. These are for upcoming bids on Carver, Emerson, Lincoln, and McKinley, and will prevent us from having to have another call board meeting for you guys to approve that, which is pretty routine. But also it helps expedite those construction projects and get them started sooner. And we put the 10% variance issue in there, in that language, such that as long as those bids are within 10% of the budgeted dollar figures, then we'll approve them. Now, I do want to get Dr. Robinson to say a word about the lift at Emerson. Go ahead, Sam.
There is a lift at Emerson that's kind of in question on if it'll keep us within this 10% variance.
The chair lift
A
for
chair lift
ADA.
to get up to the fourth floor. One of the things that I would like to get from you guys in addition to this is your approval that if we have the lift or if there's something that we deem as a critical need but it takes us out of that 10%, that we can offset those costs with building funds to make that happen. You guys will still approve the encumbrance. It's just I would like to get the contract executed so that way we can get work began on these and we're not waiting until December or January for the completion of projects. Maybe they're finished by October for some of them.
What's the rough dollar figure on that lift? Do you remember?
The lift could be anywhere from $80,000 to $100,000 very easily.
Yeah.
My only problem with what you just said was, or other things that we find to be critical needs, because that's really broad language. Because I'm like totally on board, spend what you need on making sure that we're ADA compliant and that everyone that wants to participate in that at Emerson can. But I'm a little nervous about you saying, what you might think is critical might be different than what we think.
I'm thinking like there's a security fence going up at Emerson. There's a secure walkway at McKinley between the gym and the annex building. The old building, the gym, and then the annex building there. Those are two areas that I just really don't know what the cost of those are going to come in like because they're just different. We haven't really done that in the district. To me, if it lies around student safety, if it relies around student mobility, that would be a critical need area.
And these are decisions that are going to need to be made quickly enough before our next board meeting?
I would think so.
And but the issue here is that the lift, for instance, being 80 to 100, we felt like might throw it out of that 10% variance, but we still think that we need to get it done because you kind of kill two birds while the construction company is out here to go ahead and get that done instead of putting that as well, we'll get it done when we need it. Well, that never is quick enough when you have a kid in a wheelchair that actually needs it. You know, they need it right then, not waiting for construction. So we wanted to bring that up tonight to let you know that we're going to still include that regardless of whether it comes in to the bond funds or we have to pay for it out of building funds.
You guys, I'm so pleased to hear this.
Do what?
I'm just so happy. I'm so happy to hear this.
Well, I think there's something really important to remember. These are the final 4 schools that haven't been touched. And so I think it's important, I think Dr. Floyd thinks it's important that we need to do what we've kind of said we're going to do. There might be some exception to that. I mean, we've seen some crazy bids come in before that we know we can maybe do it cheaper. And so that's when money starts getting to the end, you got to find creative ways to get things done. And I think utilizing some building funds to do that is the way to do it. So.
Just to verify, this is a new lift. We do not have a lift to the 4th floor currently.
There is not.
And if this bid does come back and the lift is included and it's within the 10%, we're still going to use the bond fund money. We're not going to say, we've said, yes, we can use building fund.
That's right,
We're still going to use bond
That's
fund
exactly
if
right.
it
Bond
fits.
funds first, building funds second.
So
And
we're
I-
just saying, if it's needed.
Mhm. I would say
we're
kind of
going
like
to
we did
say-
with Longfellow's Playground. We were $50,000 over.
Right.
We said, let's take $50,000 out of building fund to get it done the right way. And this would be the same type of setup.
Very good.
I agree completely with everything that's going, but what is it is?
Oh, I didn't say it, sorry.
At what can we have, and it just be your word, and I trust you completely, but what is a threshold for this is the dollar amount we are not going to exceed?
Well, the
You know,
10% would be,
Right,
it's, you mean, what's the total of that?
even past that.
Well, the total roughly of all those projects that we budgeted was right around $775,000.
Right, but am I
And
misunderstanding
then another
that?
80 or so for the lift.
I think what you're asking is where would we go with the building fund dollars?
Yes.
I think from a budget perspective of looking at it over the last week and then again today, I would say we should not go over $150,000 out of building fund. That would keep us within budget, keep us where we can still pay for many other things that would come up during the school year and not jeopardize anything
And
along
totally
those lines.
clear, that's not just the lift, that's all these other little safety projects you're talking about as well.
I would say that if something comes up on one of those safety projects that puts us out of that 10%, we would need to cover it out of building fund, not, to give you a specific dollar, not to exceed $150,000 in total dollars. So, is that kind of what you're asking?
Yes.
Okay.
Where you're headed. So really, two pieces to this then, 10% variance authorization out of bond funds, and then not to exceed 150,000 out of building funds if needed. But to Tori's point, bond monies first, building fund money second.
That's exactly right.
Just because I believe in the best of Enid, and I know like everybody watches these meetings, obviously, because we're like the coolest. And also because I'm really excited now because of this lift. You know, this fourth floor is like just their tech stuff, right? It's just this tech room. Yeah, the fourth floor? And orchestra. You guys, if you have someone in a wheelchair at Emerson, they get to participate in orchestra because
Yeah,
we're putting
that's
this lift
good.
in. Sorry, I'm real excited. Okay, that's it.
Any more questions? All those in, or wait, I will entertain a motion to approve item 4F. I was
So
getting
moved.
Excited too. Motion by Amanda. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Willa Joe. Any more discussion? All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And the motion carries.
Well, thank you, we appreciate it.
And moving on to new business. Do we have any new business?
We do not.
Okay, we get to move right forward.
And I'm still waiting on Colonel Simmons to, should see him tomorrow at the Vance Authority meeting, and I'm going to ask him about Colonel Cohen's replacement. And so as soon as I know that, I'll invite that person to the future meetings.
Okay. Item 6, reports, items of information, and board comments. Do I have any? No. Item 7, moving forward, our
Well, can I just, hold on.
Yes.
Congratulations, Trent.
Yes.
Yeah, Trent's new father, so congratulations.
Just growing our plainsmen, you know.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Well, blue is subsequent right to the game.
Good, that's good, you got to break them in right.
Amanda bought it, really.
She might be recruiting, I'm not sure. Okay, item 8, discussion or I did not announce the regular board meeting. Item 7, our next regular board meeting, Monday, August 19th at 6 o'clock p.m. here in the Administrative Services Center boardroom. Moving forward to item 8, discussion and possible action to approve a proposed executive session to discuss the employment of those individuals and/or positions listed on the attached Exhibit A pursuant to Oklahoma Statute 25, Section 307B1, and possible litigation pursuant to Oklahoma Statute 25, Section 307B4. We'll entertain a motion.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Trent, second by Amanda. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. 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 Any opposed? And we will be going, motion carries. We will be going into executive
Mitchell,
session.
we should be very short in executive session tonight. Yep.